was 21, I had a couple herniations in my back that kept me from surfing and pretty much doing anything physical or active. And it took me out for about 2.5 years. And when I started surfing again, I had to take it really slow. I started on a stand-up paddleboard and then progressed to a longboard. And then eventually I was able to get back to a shortboard, which was awesome, but because of the instability, it like really hurt my back a lot. So I created this board that I now call the gas pedal. And it was this board that had a super wide tail, fairly like wide outline, and pretty like standard shortboard nose, but and it was pretty blocky, like the rails were pretty thick. But what I discovered about it was when I would step back on the tail of the board, it just accelerated. It was insane. And I let my buddy borrow it, and he felt the same thing. And then about that time, my back got better and I progressed into even more high performance boards. I was able to ride again, and with like less foam. So I let my buddy keep that board, and he ended up breaking it, and I repaired it, and then he broke it again. And I kind of just told him, like, dude, you should just get a new board. So I was hanging out with him the other day while I was trying to kind of create a new groveler board, since I'd put on a couple pounds of dad weight after my kid being born. And I remembered this board, and I asked him about it, and he brought it over, and yeah, he actually still had it because he liked it so much. Like the broken board, like he had just kept it in his garage. And so he brought it over, and I redid the rocker and took an outline of it. And yeah, this is the remake, sort of modified, of that board. It's 5/8. I made this one, I made the last one a polyurethane blank, so I did the same thing here. This updated version, I do pretty much everything epoxy if I do it on my own, so it has a epoxy resin, which honestly, in my opinion, doesn't change things too much. The original was a 510, this one's a 5/8. The original had 3 fins, this one's got 5, which ended up adding significant weight to the back of the board. I think if I was going to do a 5 fin again, I'd be really mindful about either how much resin or just how much like filler I put in the fin box resin, because it does add quite a bit of weight. This one is also a little bit wider than the previous model, and considerably thinner in the rails and like just through the deck. I think probably I will do this again. I surfed this board and I really enjoyed it. The tail definitely creates a lot of drive and makes it plane really well, but I think for my weight I just need more volume. But this concept of flatter, wider through the middle, and then especially wider through the tail design really works for me. I really enjoy it. I think the only modification, I'll make 2 modifications to this in the future, is I think I'm going to do some kind of swallowtail, and then I'm definitely going to add more volume. And I guess actually the third one being, I've been really enjoying doing EPS blanks. They're a little bit lighter and more buoyant, and also carbon fiber to just make the deck last longer, and I kind of think it looks cool too. On this one I was going for like a forest green color, and got pretty close, not quite, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this one came out. What I learned not to do moving forward is that I normally would do this deck lamb second, but when I do that, you can see on this next shot there's some pooling on that bottom lamb rail, it like pools where there's that other lamb coat, and it's not, I think, yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to do the color first and then lamb over the following one so there's no pooling. The other thing I learned on this board was spackle really doesn't look good. If you're going to do some sort of like repair on foam or like fill foam, Q-cell? Q-cell is really what you want to do. Like you can see on the middle of the deck here, there's some discoloration from the spackle that came through. So in the future, no more spackle, I'm going to do Q-cell. My dad was being real nice to me and decided to get me an upgraded sander, and he got me this really nice Festool sander. But after using it for just a minute on the tail here, where I had to take down quite a bit of resin, I decided this was not a good option. It just takes the resin down way too slow, and I quickly switched back to my old sander. So I've gotten to surf this board a couple times now, and I was telling my friend, like, because it's so thin for how much I weigh, I'm like 200 pounds, it's like turning up your joystick sensitivity like way up, and like barely have to touch it for it to like move. But overall, like, it's super drivey and super loose. Like, it came out pretty good. It just needs a lighter guy.